All right, you can begin.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Group 10, and our topic today is leading change and would be presented by Aliyah Mohammed, Shania Lal, and myself, Shadi Sutherland. So, firstly, I'll be touching on the topics understanding leadership and leading change, ethical leaderships and traits of an ethical leader, as well as the relational model. What is leadership? Leadership is a multifaceted concept shaped by diverse perspectives and interpretations. Although there is no universally accepted definition, we assert that in order to lead change, a leader needs to be rooted in a steadfast commitment to ethical actions that inspire transformative change and foster social responsibility. At its core, leadership thrives on the intricate relationships among individuals who collaborate and engage in meaningful change. It is within these connections that ideas flourish and collective efforts ignite a shared vision for a better future. Through trust, empathy, and open communication, leaders empower others, motivating them to take initiative and contribute to a cause greater than themselves. In this dynamic, the essence of ethical and or relational leadership comes alive, creating a ripple effect that encourages positive change and social impact through groups or organizations. What is ethical leadership? Ethical leaders exemplify practices that ignite positive change in the actions of others, leaving a meaningful legacy. Traits of an ethical leader could be honesty, authenticity, integrity, fairness, encourages initiative, value driven, as well as respectful. An example of an ethical leader is Howard Schultz, Starbucks' former CEO, who is known for his ethical leadership style by putting his employees first and including them in drives for global initiatives. Most importantly, plays a big role in maintaining sustainability. Relational leadership. The relational leadership method, much like its ethical counterpart, is a leadership style aimed at achieving positive outcomes. However, relational leadership emphasizes the importance of community and nurturing relationships. According to this quote by Wheatley, leadership is always dependent on the context, but the context is established by the relationships we value. This approach encompasses five key components. It is a purposeful leadership style that fosters commitment to inclusivity as well as purpose. Relational leadership also empowers participants, upholds ethical standards, and acknowledges that all four elements are achieved through a process. So here we have the relational leadership model, which is a process containing inclusivity, empowering, purpose, and ethical behavior standards. Next slide. The relational leadership model is designed to facilitate positive change by concentrating on knowledge, attitudes, and skills through the framework of the knowing, being, doing paradigm. This model underscores the importance of theoretical understanding and with practical application, thereby enhancing leadership effectiveness. Inclusivity, when approached through the knowing, being, doing model, encourages leaders to actively involve individuals from diverse cultural backgrounds. By fostering an openness to different cultures, leaders can effectively enhance and develop the talents and skills of their team members. To be purposeful, a leader needs to understand their own purpose, which should also align with the purposes of others. Additionally, they should maintain a positive attitude and engage others in their mission. An effective, empowering leader must possess the ability to foster an environment of empowerment. This involves having faith in the capabilities of others and actively encouraging them. Additionally, it is essential for leaders to help individuals recognize and enhance their own skills and knowledge. A leader who embodies ethical behaviors demonstrates respect for both others and themselves. Such a leader maintains a high standard of trust and authenticity, while also possessing essential ethical skills, including reliability. This combination fosters a positive environment and encourages accountability and integrity within the team. Lastly, this approach is centered around being process oriented and relational. It emphasizes the importance of understanding your community and appreciating the other four elements. Additionally, it requires a strong commitment to achieving positive outcomes, along with having great communication and collaborative skills. The relational leadership model serves as an exceptional guide for leaders eager to drive change. However, true transformation is only possible through a deep understanding of that change.
So today I'll be discussing the concept of understanding change and strategies for change. So what is change? Well, according to this quote by Chris Richardson, it is stated that how you react, embrace, and ultimately lead through change will impact your outcomes and ability to influence long-standing performance. This means that in leadership is very important. Leaders who welcome change may promote development and progress, while those who deny it usually struggles. Change and we fear other types of change. Over the past 10 years, there has been a significant shift in the way we learn and gather information. First, the internet, followed by the development of websites, emails, and lastly, blogs. How change is facilitated at the organizational and community levels has been impacted by these and other changes. It is stated that we no longer simply manage change, we now pursue change. People may respond differently to change depending on their culture, but there aren't many cultural differences in our views of how to support change in organizations. So this here shows that life is full of change. You could go back to the right time. That life is full of change, which we sometimes embrace and other times fear. The internet, websites, emails, and blogs have all played a big role in the significant shift in how we study and access information over the past 10 years. These changes in technology have also affected how communities and organizations undergo change. We actively seek out and promote change rather than simply handling it. The fundamental ideas of promoting change in organizations are essentially the same, even though people may respond to change differently depending on their cultural background. Next slide, please. An example of change. My friend Lily has transformed from being a college student to being a registered nurse. Given that her daily schedule will now alter and she will have additional tasks to complete in both her personal and professional life as a certified nurse, this indicates that she is going through changes in her life. As a result, Lily will encounter difficulties adjusting to the new developments. But as she matures, she will realize that the changes can significantly benefit her as she grows. This example demonstrates personal change in my friend's life and how she's adapting to new changes. Next slide. All of us have experienced some form of change in our lives, whether it's adapting to new environments or embracing new opportunities, just like the example I shared. So, my question to you all is Would anyone like to share a situation where they experience a form of change in their life? Anyone?
Sorry, what?
Could you repeat?
No, I was just reading the question over.
Okay. Okay, so we'll move on to the next slide, facilitating change. So facilitating change. Core values are a fundamental driving factor in leading successful change efforts. Social movement leaders focused on great values such as equality and freedom as the ultimate goal of effecting change. Their leadership was tied to deep beliefs in greater ideals, and their focus on change was founded on those same core values. Introducing change for the sake of change is contrary to facilitating change based on fundamental values. In the movie, Brubaker, an ambitious warden, attempted to transform a corrupt prison by making deep changes that threatened internal and external political coalitions. He was met with resistance at every stage until finally his most trusted ally came to him with a proposition that if he stopped, he would get the sources to change the physical conditions inside the prison. Brubaker responded, "Every warden puts a new paint on the walls." This paragraph highlights that genuine leadership and transformation depends on fundamental principles and profound charges, rather than simple adjustments. The warden in Brubaker's example is attempting to repair a corrupt prison, but he encounters opposition since his reforms endanger established political systems. He says every warden puts a new paint on the walls in response to being given resources for visual enhancement in return for staying away. This emphasizes that for change to have a lasting effect, it must be based on values and go beyond superficial adjustments. Next slide. The four lessons based on John Cooter's 8-step change model. These four lessons listed below are based on John Cooter's 8-step change model, which illustrates important strategies for managing change effectively. So the first one, successful organizations know how to seize opportunities and avoid hazards. They recognize that taking bigger risk is associated with bigger wins and that small gradual improvements are not enough. The second one, successful change processes flow in the 8-stage model until a culture is created that allows new behaviors to stick. The third, the core challenge and focus in each of the 8 stages is changing people's behavior, what people do. The last stage, which is the fourth stage, change agents need to help others see and feel the emotions associated with a change effort. The flow of see-feel change is more powerful than that of analysis think change. This pattern of see-feel change allows people to see the problems when they are presented vividly and visually, feel the negative emotions that are getting in the way, and increase the positive feelings that change can create, and change or reinforce new behaviors, such as being less complacent, devoting more effort to achieve the vision, and so on. These 4 points focuses on how businesses can take advantage of opportunities, control risk, and create an environment that is open to change, which illustrates important strategies for managing change effectively. Next slide. Strategies for change. An organization or a community is always in motion. Political issues, environmental issues, circular issues, social justice issues, and numerous other issues are being engaged in from all sides. No single perspective has a monopoly on student support or action. However, if we have any understanding of change, we are aware that it is challenging. At every level, individual, team, institutional, organizational, and societal change is difficult. Next slide. So this slide focuses on the focus of change. So each shift may require a new set of change agents or those who may help bring about the change. Consider the following categories of change listed by Connor. First one, those who influence personal change, parents for their families, counselors for the troubled, individuals for friends in need. Second one, those who influence organizational change, executives, managers, and union leaders for work settings, administrators, and teachers for educational systems, clergy for religious institutions, administrators, doctors, and nurses for healthcare systems, students for the campus culture, consultants for their clients. Third point, those who influence large-scale social change, politicians for the general public, civil servants for the government, political action, groups for special interests, researchers for the scientific community, opinion leaders for the media. So to summarize these 3 points, depending on the circumstances, change can occur at various levels and can be influenced by different persons. On a personal level, parents, friends, and counselors assist others in adjusting to life transitions. Leaders in organizations, such as managers, executives, and educators, are crucial in promoting change in institutions, workplace, and educational settings. On a broader scale, policy and innovation are ways that experts and political figures impact societal change. We can better see how change is enabled in many contexts when we comprehend their distinct responsibilities. This shows that purposeful participants can be agents of change who aid in achieving common goals as shareholders or stakeholders in a variety of situations. I hope this information on understanding change and strategies for change was helpful and that you all gained a clearer understanding of the topic. I will now pass you on to my colleague, Aliyah Mohammed.
Now I will be discussing essential traits for leading change. According to Heroic Leadership by Chris Loney in chapter 14 of the textbook, the author gave some pillars of leadership success from a 450-year-old company. Chris Loney gave 4 traits a leader should have in order to become successful. These traits are self-awareness, ingenuity, love, and heroism. Self-awareness. To be a leader, one must understand his or her strengths, weaknesses, values, and beliefs. The Jesuits or leaders are trained to reflect on their goals, values, and performance throughout each day. Once a year, each sits down with a superior for an account of conscience to reinforce an understanding of common goals and success within the company. Secondly, we have ingenuity. Innovating and adapting to a changing world is one of the things the Jesuits have done best. Saint Ignatius Loyola described the ideal Jesuit or leader as living with one foot raised, always ready to respond to opportunities. Although education was not one of the Jesuits' initial goals. For example, they spotted a need and began plowing money into building a college. Within a decade, they had opened more than 30 colleges all over the world. Next, we have love. Saint Ignatius Loyola believed people perform best in environments that are supportive, caring, and charged with positive emotion. He counseled leaders to create a climate filled with greater love than fear, and be passionately committed to unlocking the potential in themselves and others. Lastly, we have heroism. And I quote, "Heroes extract gold from the opportunities around them rather than waiting for golden opportunities to be handed to them." Leaders aim high and energize others with their ambitions for something more, something greater than what is. This Jesuit leader contributed to the first European forays into Tibet, for example, and created the world's highest quality secondary education available. Now I have an example of leading change, implementing essential traits of a leader that we just discussed in a realistic situation. A Massy Stores manager notices that customer complaints about long checkout lines are increasing. Instead of ignoring the issue, the manager practices self-awareness by recognizing their role in improving the situation. They use ingenuity to introduce a new express checkout system and train or educate employees on faster service techniques. The manager shows love, which supports their staff or employees through the transition, listening to their concerns and motivating them with words of encouragement. Of course, some employees may resist. The manager then demonstrates heroism by standing firm in their decision and staying committed to the change. Eventually, with given time, the new system improves efficiency and customers become happier. The manager's ability to lead with these traits not only solves the problem, but also builds a stronger, more motivated team. Basically, the manager recognized the problem, found a solution, supported the staff and employees, and stood firm in their decision during challenges. Together, these traits improved the store service and built a better team due to their leadership.
So that concludes our presentation for today. Thank you guys for listening.